I played a session of about 300 hands. I filtered for where I put VPIP'd, so voluntary put money in pots, and either had the opportunity to 3-bet or 4-bet, or saw a flop, which leaves us with about 59 hands or something. I will be going through the hands, see if we can find some where we are unsure about what to do, and that will be in a second video after I do some of the table work on it. But this is basically how I study sessions, right? So we open big blind calls. Interesting flop because it just misses both of our ranges very often. This hand is pretty good to bet. I mean, it will fall out better. It does have backdoor equity. It has decent blockers, so it has lots of opportunity in the future. Bet size wise, I think just betting small is going to put way more pressure on this range, and it allows us to go for these big bets on turns. King completing 2 flush draws. We don't really block either flush draws, so we don't mind betting. Get a gut shot with it as well. Don't like my sizing, probably should be bigger. And we'll move on to the next hand. This is just a limp pot. This is a fish, by the way, and I think min raise and we just get out. Sorry, and I think he c-bets and we fold. Yep, everyone folds. Pocket tens, we open 3-bet and get a call. So we go for this small sizing in 3-bet pots. It does make sense because we just want to commit money. We get like this weird raise from a regular. I'm definitely taking this hand, by the way. Because this is interesting because I go for a 3-bet. Because I think with other position 3-bets, when he goes for this small sizing raise, if he does it with like hands like ace king, ace queen, or maybe even ace jack, right, or just like these random overcards, we don't just want to call and allow him to see a turn and a river, so we actually want to have a decent raising range here. Now obviously he has a decent amount of 8x, not that much, but he has some of them. But it's not gonna, I think it's just not gonna be enough, but we'll definitely see this hand in the next video. He folds, by the way, but I think this is an interesting spot. This is a regular, by the way. I think his raise is interesting, first of all, but then my raise, I'm pretty curious. So sevens, this guy then min 3-bets. He then leads out for half a big blind, so obviously calling, goes check, check, check. Bad river, this guy bets, and I don't think I can call there without the diamonds. We get a limp, and then this raise, again, this guy is a fish, so we actually want to be playing pots, and that's the guy we raised previously, so I don't mind the call. We flopped up pair, regular bets there, so we have an easy call. Then 3 ace on the river, and he bets. In general, this is like an overbluffed card, but I think it's very hard for him to have many bluffs. I probably should have called this. I mean, it's hard to define his range. But I think I should have called this. This is a mistake on my end. So small blinds versus big blinds, call. We bet here because we have backdoors. I think people are betting too much out of position anyway, so I'm attacking this way more often than I should. Because in theory, I probably shouldn't be attacking this very often. King turn, when he checks, when I'm trying to represent the queen, right, basically I'm gonna check a bunch. Sure, I pick up equity here. But I am going to check this a bunch. And then the 10, we do get showdown. I don't think there's much value to be gained. Like, he can definitely still have a queen. I could have a jack that he plays like this. It's thin with value. I think we can, but I don't think I'm going to go for it here. And he shows me pocket threes, which is definitely fine. Ace 10, we open. We get 3-bet small, so we call. We flop nothing, so we just fold. Pocket threes, we open, we get a cold call, and then something else. Multi-way, I'm just checking this. We face quite a decent size, which multi-way shouldn't be a thing, and then fold. Open ace 5, I think this is like one of the weakest aces I have. We get a small blind call, and we flop 3 to a flush. In general, this board isn't actually that scary because sure, he's gonna have flushes, but he's not gonna have as much as a big blind because he's small blind. He is a fish though. I'm pretty sure I have him tagged as a losing player, not a fish. This is the fish at the table, but like a losing player at like 10 big blinds per 100 over a decent sample size. But I think our hand is just too strong to be turning into a bluff. If he had like maybe we can value bet this, but I think like small blinds is gonna have a decent amount of. You know what? I am gonna review this. but it is hard to construct like small blind combinations, but I will review this. So I go check, check, turn is a space, so it goes check, check again, then a queen. And I decide, well, this guy doesn't have anything, but I'm just gonna check, and he shows me 10 jack, which is definitely fine, right? He probably would have called on the flop at least once. So here we open and we get 3 bets. I think this hand is just too strong to actually fold to the 3 bets. Flop comes ace high, not really that great for us. I do think I'm gonna review this hand. So we check, he bet small. I mean, I'm not folding a pair, so we call. Queen, I mean, it's an interesting card. He can definitely have ace queen. He can still have aces and have me beat. He can have king 10. 2 flush draws though, so when he bets, I'm not folding 2 pair here. He could be overplaying ace king. He could be doing something weird. Although I think it's really hard for people to find bluffs here. So maybe I should overfold. But I will review this hand. I have it marked. So we call, and I mean the river is really good for us. I mean, for our exact hand, I don't think like range-wise it's good for us, but I think for our exact hand it's pretty good. I don't think leading is a thing here, because he still has aces, he still has queens, he has pocket jacks, he has ace jack, ace queen, stronger stuff, right? So I check, he checks, and he shows me ace queen, so basically got bailed. King jack, standard open, get 3 bets, and we fold. I think this is on a tighter end, but sure. Pocket 3s. Because this guy's a fish, I'm calling this. Normally I don't call 3s here, but these guys haven't shown me much aggression, so I definitely call here. And then we do get aggression, so yeah, we fold, and we wouldn't have made that anyway. A bit too loose with an open, but sure. Guys weren't aggressive, so when we do get aggression, then we easily fold. Small blind versus big blind, definitely calling this. I check here because sure he checked, and I think exploitatively I should be betting here very often, but I'm like trying to play a bit more balanced. In a balanced one, he's actually playing correct and checking a bunch of time. I think I do have him back as a regular. I am gonna check this a decent amount back. And then when a king comes, it's like an opportune moment to bet, right? He showed me 2 streets where he doesn't think he has a hand. And I do have gut shot this time, and he just folds. So a limp, and I decide, well, I have pocket eights, I'm not gonna let this fish just get there. We flop like this, and we bet small, and then he jams on us. Yeah, I mean, this is an easy fold. I don't see him bluffing here. Plus our hand isn't even that great a bluff catcher, so sure. Ace jack, same fish. We flop decent, he bets and we call. When he donked previously, it was a flush draw. So when the flush comes in and the ace is on the board with the flush draw, I don't really have that many flushes. Given that it's a small blind range, I don't think he has many naked diamonds anyway, so I just check and hope to get value later on. He has 9, so we'll go for value later on, and he shows me a weaker raise, which obviously would probably have called turn anyway. So maybe turn bet is better there, but against the fish, like, it's really hard to say. King 3, standard defense. We flopped up there. He bets small. We call. Goes check bets. I'm not in the mood for folding here. He definitely has a lot of bluffs. We block like top pair. He could have king queen, sure, but that already had us beat. And then another queen. I don't think on the turn people are actually betting queen x very often, like unless he has like queen x of spades, and even then he's gonna check it a bunch. So the queen is actually not that bad a card. We do split now against some kings, but we were never beating any kings, so that's actually an improvement. I'm not sure what I would do if he bets, depending on the size, of course, but he checks, and I wouldn't pot. A6 open. We have like in this situation, just because like the board here, we basically want to go big or not bet, and I think this hand like is just one of our weakest aces, right? So we're just going to check this, and then when he starts betting into us, we have a call. We have a call here as well, and it shows me 2 pair. Sure, congratulations. I mean, I don't think that's wrong in any regard. Ace king, so we have a 3-bet, so we're gonna call 4-bet this, and we just get folds. Another ace king where he opens, we 3-bet, we get a call. I check, he bets. I don't think against his sizing, I can just fold. And then this turn, actually I'm gonna review this mainly because I'm somewhat interested at this moment in like 3-bet pots and how they play. So I do think this is somewhat interesting. Then 6s, we open, we get calls in multiple streets. Not normally out of position I'm checking very often, but like this hand is like so bad, right? So I do go for the bet and they both fold. I think this is just because it misses all of their ranges so very often that I generally want to check a lot. But like being multi-way, I don't know. I think this is just like, this is obviously exploitable when I do this, but I just don't want another card peeling off, and I don't think this guy is like, he's passive in general. I think he's a fish at the table, and passive in general. So he's gonna check a bunch, and I don't actually want that to happen. So 4s again, fish in the big blind, so I want to invite him in, which he does. Goes check, 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 turn 8, and we have an easy fold against that sizing. Again, the fish, so we do want to isolate him. He does call, we flop a 9, so we go small, which against fish I'm doing very often, and he just folds. And then 9s, we just call. Again, we don't mind playing this like this because 3-betting this is fine. But we do still want to have like these 2 fish in the pot and set mine. We can bet small here, multi-way, and it gets through. 7-8, easy call. This is a huge mistake from this guy. So he bets small. First of all, this board does not favor him at all. It's way better for my range. This is a huge mistake that a lot of people are making, like just c-betting out of position. Well, I raise pre-flop, I have aces. Well, this board just crushes my range in general. You should not be doing this. So I punish it, I go for a big raise. He calls and turn is king. Doesn't really change much. I mean, if he had pocket king, sure, or, I mean, whatever. But what is he gonna have? Like king 8 I block, king 7 I block, right? The suited variety. So there's only like 2 combos. And if he had like king 5, sure. But if he had me beat previously, he's gonna have me beat now anyway. So I bet again, going for bigger size and trying to get it in, and he does it for me, so I have an easy call. And he shows me a gut shot. I mean, this is definitely an overplay on his end. I don't mind the peel because it's like a double color, but like the turn raise is like really bad. The king just doesn't hit his range as much. That might be why he did this, because he thinks, well, I have more ace king or something. I don't know. I think this is bad. Like he can probably just peel this again for this size. Although nah, if like a 6 comes, he's not getting paid off. Like a 10 probably he's getting paid off. That's about it. But even then, like nah, this is just suicide. I do have him tagged as a shitty regular, so whatever. Here, normally I would not play this hand, but I think one of the 2 is at least a fish. I think this guy actually is, or this guy is, which makes me call. We get like this, oh, this guy definitely is, so we get like this min 3 bets and then this flop on which he goes this sizing. I do call because, you know, the sizing, and I'm like, nah, fuck this. I probably should have called even then, but just because of the odds we're getting. This hand, like, again, this really weird line, right? Like this isolation is fine against the fish, but then this fish does this. I don't mind calling and just seeing a flop, but the flop is really bad for us, and this I would have called, but then this obviously not. I actually don't know how the hand played out. 7, oh yeah, like this, yeah, sure, I recall. So as you can see, right, so limp this, and then he does a min raise with this shit, like fish are fish. Who knows what they're doing? 6s, pretty bad flop, so checks around. 9s, pretty bad flop. I probably could have called, but like the fact that this guy calls in my hand does have so bad. So you can see, like, actually wasn't losing. So I probably should have called. I think the fault there is a mistake. So we flop nothing. I'm gonna check this once and then see what happens. I do have a decent amount of 3x in my checking range, but this hand is just a fold. Against the fish, you can play a bit more straightforward. We can 3-bet this, but again, the guy is a fish. I don't really want to deny him the opportunity to make mistakes. He bets small again, we call, and then he does this, so I mean we have an easy fold. Pocket sevens, we play here. This type of board, given that I'm the cutoff, I'm not gonna have many 6s and 5s, so I'm not gonna bet very often. I would go for a big sizing, and I think sevens doesn't mind going for a big sizing, but I would want to have a club. So when a 9 comes, I'm obviously checking again, and then an ace comes, I can easily check it down, and it shows me deuces. Queen 8, I mean it's on the lighter end, but sure. We check, I think, and then we turn to pair. Yeah, turn to pair. But it's a scary board. So when he bets here, and then a 5, like I probably should have bet this. I think this is a mistake. I should have bet this. When he checks, like he's gonna have a bunch of bluff catchers anyway. I misvalued there. Here we have an easy call. We make a pair. He bets, and so we call. And then an ace. He bets small again. I think against this sizing on this board where I don't really block that many draws, because like 9x of diamonds doesn't really matter that much because I already have, like, it's already a pair. I think I just have a mandatory card for the sizing and just show me the king. And this is why you don't really attack small blind versus big blind all that often, standard, because small blind should be checking these type of hands and you can't just attack it willy-nilly. Like I probably lost minimum here, right? Where I have like second pair against top pair in very wide ranges, especially when this card comes. Like it's very unlikely he actually has a king, so I'm gonna pay off a lot with 9x. But the check on my turn, on the turn, is like saving me money. Ace 10 open, weakest of my aces, so easy fold. I'm actually not sure. Oh, it's against the fish. We open this, we get a call. I think we just check fold this. Quite passive for me, but I think this hand could be a bet on the flop. But I'm not that happy with it because like a backdoor straight draw 7-8 doesn't really do much. And then we have 3-4 or clubs. And it's like I don't really like sitting out of position that much with these type of holdings. Again, check, bet, call, check, and then we river the 9. We could go for a value here. Against the fish, we probably should. Go check, and it shows me a6, so yeah, definitely missed value. A7, easy fold. King 10, we can 3-bet this actually, but I don't mind mixing the call. He bets again, out of position, like I'm in position, I have backdoors, overcards, I'm definitely gonna call at least one street, and then when he bets on this type of turn, which is really that great for my specific hand, but it is okay for my range, I'm just gonna fold this. King 10, he checks, we do have like showdown value, but we also have like the flush draw, so we are gonna check for now. He bets, we are gonna call, and then he bets small again. I did consider raising here. I mean, we do have a straight, and we block like his flushes, but I'm not sure if we're actually gonna get a lot of value. I think people are actually gonna fold a lot. But let's say he has like 9-8, for example. Can he fold this? I'm not sure. So maybe I should raise this small. I definitely went with a call, and he shows me an ace. So yeah, thank you for the money. But I'm not sure if he calls that anyway. But ace 5, check. This is just like too weak. When an ace comes, it's actually a very good card for our checking range. But like some of our checking range still wants to check here, and we want to like have these weaker aces to cover it. So I think I do check this. And then on the river, I bet he calls me, and he calls me with pocket sevens. So I definitely gained value there by checking the turn, I think. Although he might just call me anyway, at least one street, so it doesn't really matter there that much. We're never getting 2 streets. Here, again, is against the losing regular. There are things to be said about calling. We are a bit deeper than 100 big blinds, so I do call. He bets, I call. he check, and then on the river, I just hope he checks down like ace king, ace queen, right? So we check and he checks down ace king. Yeah. That's the situation you find yourself in often. You call these pocket pairs and then you call the board. Again, normally I think this I fold, but then because this fish is here, I just call. Yep. He bets, I call. They see bet too much out of position, then he goes for this small overbet, and I have this easy fold. I find this small overbet to be a bit weird. I mean, I definitely have like 10x that I'm calling, and like queen 10, for example. I do have some queen x that I'm calling because I do consider that people are betting too much out of position. But maybe that's how he perceives the game. I don't know. Easy folds. Pocket nines, I think I 3-bet. Yep. We do get a call. Again, this type of board, small c-bet size, he calls. Small, half pot, he calls. And then on the river, I'm debating, well, this guy is tagged as a shit irregular. Can I just jam here? What is he gonna call me off with? Will it just check down? And I decide with the check, and he checks down 10-8, which is like super weird. I mean, what the fuck was this guy doing? There's a reason, I guess, I haven't tagged as a shit irregular. I guess like on the flop, he has like backdoor flush draws and overcards. If he doesn't believe me, and he can take it away on some turns. And then this turn he gets a gut shot. I don't know. I think calling half pot there with a gut shot. I will review it because I think his side of it is a bit weird. And he should probably bluff this on the river, right? Maybe he considers that this river is just really bad to bluff on. But like not having, like imagine me having ace deuce of spades or something like that, right? He actually loses against that when he checks. I have a bunch of like spade draws that would fall to his jam that now we're winning at showdown, so that actually makes his turn call worse. He has to bluff this river. I cannot see that this is a check. This is just terrible. Easy fold. I mean, it's only 40 big blinds, but still. We get this Dunkin, so this is the guy that I talked about earlier. We have this easy call. We actually turn value as well, and then he bets here pot. I mean, I'm not folding this, and he shows me, missed flush draw, and that's why on a previous hand I said, well, the previous time he dunked was like a flush draw. So that's this one, right? King 10 goes check. I think I can bluff this. I mean, we do have like overcards and a cut shot. Will he fold a bunch of ace-x? I don't know. Is the shit irregular? So we go check. River is a jack. I think I was too busy something. I should have bluffed at one point. I think the turn is like the point I should have bluffed there. We get 3-bet. I think this is like really close. I think ace-10 off is a mix between 4-bet and fold. King 10 I can 4-bet. Somewhat as well, but it's like really low. We 4-bet and he folds. Jack deuce I think is a bit ambitious to be doing this. Yeah, I think this is too ambitious. Like maybe something was in game. Jack 3 is a call. When they check and it's a fish, I think I should bet this because they're playing more face up. So the check there is actually pretty weak, and then when he bets this on an ace, I'm just folding. I think my check isn't that great on the flop. Jack 6, this is a board where I can go for this bigger sizing, so I'm basically checking a bunch, which this hand includes. When he then checks and I now get a gut shot, I need to find some bluffs, obviously. So I'm going to use this hand as a bluff. And he calls me, and then on the 7 I'm just going to continue my story. I'm basically going to say, well, the king actually helped me. I do block some hands. It's a losing player, so he might make a bunch of mistakes here. And he does fold. I do have like stop late ace there, right? So he limps, we isolate, but like another guy jumps in as well. We flop like middle pair. Again, normally I would check a bunch, but I think passivity from this guy. He does call queen, so it goes check check, forward goes check check, and you see he shows me deuces. I don't think it's that bad from him. Nah, it seems okay. Ace jack, we isolate and we get a call, we flop an ace. Given that it's against the fish, we just want to go for a bigger sizing. He bets, he raises, he then jams. I just don't think he's bluffing very often here. I might review this. I think in theory this might be a call, but like against the fish, like this. Well, it's gonna be hard to review. Let's not review this. Wait. Okay. Like it's very hard for us to have a calling range, but like we block his flush draws. We don't really have a redraw, so like ace 9, ace 10 is probably better than ace jack. Their limping range might still contain strong hands. When he raises that small on the flop, and so on, I think it's a fault. I think I'm saving money there. In general, overbets by fish aren't bluffed enough. So we isolate here, but the big blind jumps in. We flop a set. So we bet, this guy calls, and this guy raises. I mean, it's a set against the fish, and the fish shows interest in the pot. It's a very draw-heavy board. I don't mind just jamming, getting it in here. I mean, we probably have the best hand. It's very unlikely one of these two has kings or tens, right? This kings would be 4-bet, and this kings or tens shouldn't really be limped and then called. Especially not kings, like maybe tens is a fish, you never know. So I go for the jam, this guy calls. Yeah, this guy calls and he shows me pocket tens. I mean, congratulations on you. So yeah, that was very early on in the session. So here I just want to isolate. This guy jumping in might just jump in because it's only half a big blind, but when I go bigger, obviously this guy has like a bunch of junk anyway, and then this guy might check it out. This board, I mean, I don't really have to be scared of too many cards coming. If he has like 7-8, I'm blocking the 9. If he has like diamonds, I'm dominating it, and so on. So when I go for a check here, I could definitely bet as well, but I think like capturing how much shit hands he has, like the value from those is going to be more when I check. Turn is a 5, like he could definitely have a 5, but I'm not suddenly going to be betting. And then river I probably should bet to gain value from like weaker ace x. But it's hard to find many weaker ace x, right? I might be value on myself. He should still be bluffing a decent amount. So I go with the check and he just checks back 7-8. This is one of the very first hands I played with this guy. So these are the hands that I played in this session. And I'll be reviewing the hands that I marked for review. And then we'll see you in the next video where we actually go through the details of those hands.